Hello and welcome to another video, and it's Amico time! Amico Forever 53, yay! But first of all, Mike Mullis, an apology. Yes, I apologise, Mike Mullis. I overstepped the mark the other day. Why? What did I say? Because I criticised you for your awful microphone audio. I'm sorry. Sorry that I didn't say that when rendering the video, you should go into the settings and increase the audio gain. Do that until you can afford a new mic. God knows what was wrong with your mic before. I saw on Darius's video that apparently had two microphones set up, and that's why it was you getting some reverb. But even still, the microphones were way too quiet. You were saying Seth's mic was broken. No, your mic, we could barely hear you. I mean, maybe that's a good thing, but you know, at the very least, just turn up the audio gain when you're rendering the video, and then we'll be able to hear you. Yeah, I mean that would be better than not being able to hear you. Maybe. Your mileage may vary. Okay, so we're on to the Amico Forever part now, and there's two parts to this. One, the area that sort of talked about Amico from sort of the last 20 minutes of the show. Thanks to Andrew Verber for the heads up. There's a bit where they talk about Sega, and yeah, just Andrew Verber was pointing out what a bloody know-it-all Rab comes out to be again. And I listened to part of this about the Sega thing, but I hadn't. I missed so the main part where it sort of went like this. But let's just let's see how we go.
Now, let me ask you guys a couple of questions on this. Do you think, because I remember seeing these systems still on shelves for quite a while, and a lot of people were talking about, like, okay, the mini consoles have kind of run their course. You know, the NES came out, and the Super NES, and the Genesis, and the TurboGrafx 16, and the Neo Geo,
right,
the Commodore 64. They've all had a small version of a console, and everyone's kind of...
Well, I mean, they have their place, but Sony really stuffed theirs up with a PlayStation 1 Classic that was rubbish, and they should have done a PlayStation 2 and just not screwed up what they got screwed up last time, which was to include the wrong versions of games. I think I'm trying to think now, they had PAL versions which were in 50 hertz rather than 60 hertz. Yeah, I think from what I remember, the games weren't particularly brilliant. Yeah, then the whole thing sort of sorry, Nintendo, I was going to say. I know they had the NES and the Super NES classics. Then they didn't follow it up with an N64 classic, which is what everyone really wanted. I never had an N64, and so the classic would have been great. But no, they didn't even bother with that, so they missed the boat there.
Kind of stepped away from it. Sega went back and has double dipped. Now with this new console, it's still a Sega Genesis, but now it has incorporated, Sega CD games.
Sega CD stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't throw any 32X stuff in here, which I thought was kind of a little bit of a loss on their part, because you should have been able to pull it in there.
Or
that's going to be number 3.
like if they're going to do Earthworm Jim 2, wasn't that available on the CD too?
I don't know.
Just the CD version?
They should have done a CD version instead of the regular version. I mean, if they're going to do that.
I have no idea whether there's any difference between the two. I've not played either, I don't think, or ever played one of them. I can't remember.
But yeah, I think... Going back to what you said, yeah, I do think it's kind of phased out. I know a lot of people like to hack them and do a bunch of other stuff on with them, but I don't know. I think this is worth it because of the games, because they actually threw some rare games and games you don't normally see. I mean, there's your basic filler like Sonic and Golden Axe. Not that those are
games that people like.
Aren't fantastic games and what made the system. It's just,
you've seen them everywhere 100 times.
Million times. Right. But when you got stuff like Splatterhouse 2's on there, try buying that for under $300.
Yeah.
Why would you spend that money on it? Seriously. Why would you spend that money on it? It's mad. I mean, there's part of me once that would have loved to have loads, a few years ago, would have loved to have loads of separate consoles all set up and loads of games and all the rest of it. And now I realise if I had all that, if I spent money on all that, it would just be filling up shelves, and I wouldn't bother looking at any of it. I'd just go to ROMs instead, just for bloody ease of use.
like you said, like Sylphid and a couple of the other ones. I mean, you obviously got Outrun and Outrunners. Like you can play those anywhere for the most part.
It certainly has some appeal for collectors who don't want to spend that money on well, maybe not collectors, but people who are not into emulating and putting together collections from wherever they can source these ROMs. You also have Nintendo Switch Online.
It's just for the casual gamer. That's all they're for. That's all they're aimed at. They're not aimed at hardcore retro nuts like yourselves.
With its Genesis games now.
Yeah. I would say collectors, because some people have started really getting into collecting these mini consoles. That's become a new collector.
Yeah, anything video game you put out, I think collector is going to be of
almost anything you
interest.
make, there's going to be a collector for it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you could say
Sorry, just go back. Sweet Nintendo Hooligan. Is that a cat symbol? Cat fighter? Pussy? I don't know what you're trying to say there.
Yeah, anything video game you put out, I think collector is going to be of
almost anything you
interest.
make, there's going to be a collector for it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you could easily say collector, just it's not the way that we think of it when we think retro games.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wonder if, Sega could be a little late in getting this out. Like if they had did this before they put all the Genesis games on Switch Online, would this before?
Go back. Mike Mullis, the original Next Level Gaming. I've no qualms saying I'm emulating my Sega CD collection on RetroArch or my Atari VCS. Saves on disk usage too. Just a point about RetroArch. I've tried. Oh God, how I've tried. I just stopped bothering to use it because I tried setting up RetroArch once, and why can't it just come with all the emulators built in? Because you have the program. It's just like a thing it's like a program with a load of built-in launchers waiting for the launcher to be launched on the launch pad, and you go in there and you supposedly grab the core from somewhere so you can then basically get the emulator to go into the RetroArch thing, and then I got it to scan the games in that I had on my PC, but could I get this core business to work? It just seemed a damn sight easier to try to get these load in cores and do this, that, and the other, just to go and run the cores, run the emulators separately, rather than try and use this RetroArch nonsense. Have they fixed it since? Can it just load games in automatically? Answers on a postcard, please.
They put all the Genesis games on Switch Online. Would this have done better? If they had put this out when the mini craze was still going on, would have done better? We're going to see, 1 year, 2 years from now, whether or not these are still on shelves, how well they're selling.
I have no idea when I can't remember when the Genesis one came out, or Mega Drive as it was in the UK. Was it only last year, or was it 2 years ago? Not sure whether it was 2020 or whether it was 2019. I can't actually remember. I shall just have a quick look on the old Amazon website. Let's have a look. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, come on, this bloody slow thing. Right, Sega Mega Drive. Windy Pops. Sega Mega Drive Mini. She's got the advert for number 2. Number 1, when did that come out? Yeah, 4th of October 2019. So I had a feeling it was before the pandemic because sort of once the pandemic came about, nothing came out for ages, especially the Amico. So now, probably 2021 might have been a bit iffy trying to get things out. So I expect they would have liked to get it, got it out sooner rather than later. But I would say that's more a pandemic and chip shortage thing than everything else. Because 2020 was a bad year because nothing was being made, and even when I wanted to get a PC with like a 3080 graphics card, RTX 3080, and I couldn't because they were just the ones you could get were just massively inflated prices. So now I'm hoping that when the 4080 specs are fully announced and there's comparisons with that and whatever AMD bring out, I can actually get a PC for a decent price. And then maybe I can get Plague Tale Requiem to load. Hang on. Farty pops. Yeah, Plague Tale. If you look at my video the other day of Plague Tale Requiem, that's playing on the PC I bought in the meantime, which is has a 1660 Super GTX graphics card, and normally it's perfectly fine for a lot of games. It can run a lot of games in 4K. Red Dead Redemption 2 and Hitman 3, basically I still have to stick with 1080p for those. But God, it may as well be a potato for the effort I get out of Plague Tale Requiem. And I know it's not just me, because I mean last year they brought out a remastered version of 2019's Plague Tale Innocence. Now I played that on PC, and so last year I played it again on PS5. I've got a full gameplay list playlist on my channel. That's all in the game. The whole game's in 4K, 60 frames a second. It looks gorgeous, absolutely amazing. So I was cock a hoot when I heard about the sequel coming out. And yet, even on the PS5 and Xbox Series X, it's 30 frames a second. What? And even then, it's like 1440p. So they can't even get their game to run on properly on current or next or current gen hardware. Shite. Focus Entertainment, shite. What are you playing at? So, yeah, absolutely beyond stupid. I don't know whether they're going to try and fix that so the game works properly in future, but well, apparently you can get, if you've got 120 hertz display, you can get it to run at 40 frames a second. Ooh, you're really spoiling us. Just, do whatever you have to do to get it back at 4K 60, get 60 frames a second again. What have you done between 2021 and 2022 to really stuff that up? I don't understand. Ugh. Ooh, windy pops. Just before I carry on, I'll just say this should be up on Saturday morning, and around about that time, I'll be going to have. I should be around for the premiere as long as I'm not asleep. I've got to go at some point for a COVID booster because I'm a certain age. Yeah, I'm 21 again. Hoping I can get a flu jab at the same time. I see people going, "Oh, I had the flu jab and the COVID jab at the same time, and I can't cope." Don't be such a bloody Jesse. Get it done. Oh God. Good Lord. Right, let's continue.
If they're being discounted, I think it's just an Amazon exclusive right now. So we'll see how long it lasts as far as availability. But I thought it might be curious, interesting to discuss.
I think what would be interesting to see is one or more of these mini consoles start to do like what, because me and you had a conversation earlier today about making these things to where you could upgrade them like almost season passes, kind of like the Playdate, right?
That would be cool to actually download.
And something game like that would download like the next season of carts or whatever.
So basically, they want an Evercade system. So they just pay season passes. So this Sega Mega Drive 2 Dewberry updates regularly, so it gets more and more games as they go on. Don't you realise this is just? I mean, it's selling for about £100 on Amazon. This is just something to put under the tree for kids for Christmas. This is not a computer for 50-year-old men, and I'm including myself in that. This is not. Sorry, I'm 21, aren't I? This is not a console. This is no country for old men. This is no Christmas for old men. This is something for kids to play at Christmas time. You give them the box. It's got a ton of games in it. They go, thank you very much, and they play that until they go back to school in January, and then it sits in a cupboard again until you realise they're not playing with it anymore, and then you stick it on eBay in the spring. It's not, they won't go back to it after a couple of weeks. It's just a bit of cheap entertainment to get them through the Christmas holidays. But no, please, sir, can I have more? Say they.
They poured in so that you could eventually just have like several seasons of these things in there.
I'd love that
have
for
an SD
TurboGrafx
card so you could add more memory to store more of them and that kind of thing.
Or you can just download them all and put them on PC,
Right.
It wouldn't be that much more expensive,
or just get the ROMs and hack the mini console and put them all on there.
and it would
It's
be
HDMI. It's compact. Everything's
Yeah.
built one off a menu.
right, and it's a way of extending the life of
Sega
these
product,
things and
exactly.
continuing to make money off of them.
They're not interested in that. They're just interested in putting out a product, get a quick buck sale for kids to play over Christmas, and then they go back to school. That's it.
Right?
Because I mean, they're $99.99. If you sell 300,000 of them, that's $30 million revenue that Sega's looking at. Now that they're not going to make $30 million off of that. Obviously, there's costs.
No.
Amazon is taking 5%, 10% of
They might make
of that.
$5 million off of that if they sell
With
300,000,
license and everything. Yeah,
I'd say.
5-9 million maybe if they
Yeah.
sell through. But then what? Then
DJC looks bored as hell.
2 years from now, is Sega going to put out another system that is, more Saturn, more Dreamcast games, more?
Now, Dreamcast Mini would be great. We could really do with a Dreamcast Mini. Whether we're going to get that, I don't know. I would be interested in that. But again, you can just download emulators and get the ROMs and do that if you're really bothered. I mean, I have sort of downloaded a load of ROMs and got them on the PC, and then along with the emulator, and then I just think, well, I've got that I can play, but I've got a billion other things I can play, and then I forget all about the ROMs I've downloaded, and I just go back to like Xbox Game Pass or whatever I've got on Steam or whatever new free game is on Epic Game Store. There's so much to play, and you could spend all the time indoors playing the games, and then you just think, oh, I really should be getting some fresh air outside.
Sega Master System. I mean, at what point do people I don't want to keep buying these systems that are just like 30 and that's all I can do unless I jailbreak them and put on my own games?
Right.
Well, it doesn't sound like it's too hard from what people say.
Would they ever look at something like you were talking about where,
No.
you can log into a server and you can, Sega can check if this is legitimate or if it's been jailbroken. And yes, then you have access to, our Sega Ages network. And here's 30 more games on the season for your
Yeah, but they don't care about that. That's not what it's there for.
$20 to, expand your library.
I'm thinking
Blitzkrieg. The Genesis Mini 2s will sell out. The Genesis Mini 2s what? That's possessive pronoun. Good lord.
Even relaunch something like the Sega Channel or something like that, where for like a fee you have access to these, and some of these come in and out that you can just download and you can swap them in and out of the system.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. That would be kind of cool to do.
Yeah.
Be a way of relaunching the Sega Channel in some form and probably making some decent money out of it.
Sure, they made plenty. They'll make enough that they want to make by just making the console and sticking that on the shelves for Christmas.
Like a half launch of Sega without getting too deep into hardware. I mean, it's mostly servers and software and back end that they'd be working on, but they're kind of doing a lot of that already, just to make their own kind of product and their own little niche side system where this stuff exists. And I think it'd be really cool. There's a lot of these games that we're talking about like this one really hasn't aged well. Some of these games haven't been touched in 30 years. It'd be fascinating for them to put in a million, 1.5, whatever, into one of these old games that, older players would be interested in seeing an updated version of something like Crusader of Senti or something that you can not have to spend a fortune to just polish it a little bit. Do a Link's Awakening. Do
God, even Sega are thinking.
a Cowabunga collection. Do a Wonder Boy and Monster World kind of update to it without spending a fortune to kind of, bring those graphics along, update the gameplay, add some quirky new things. I think it could be done.
Yeah.
I
think it would be an
Sega go in
interesting
that
experiment
direction.
at least to see somebody try to do it. And if anybody's going to be crazy enough to do it, I think it ought to be Sega, because
What about Intellivision? They're crazy enough.
they were always the one that was kind of out there swinging for the fences when it came to like IPs and stuff like that, particularly around the Genesis era. If you wanted like weird, crazy hardware, you went for like Nintendo, because they went off the rails and then just kept going.
Yeah. Where we're going, we don't need rails.
That's right.
Well, anyway, so to get through the rest of these, so
Yeah, this is a point where DJC thinks, I'm bored of talking about this. Let's go back to the rest of the stuff we were talking about. I won't detail the scene, but if you've ever seen the Alan Partridge episode, I'm Alan Partridge, Series 1, where before Alan offends people, he goes off to get some breakfast at the Travel Tavern, and Lynn's left talking to the Irish TV executives, and one of them's been to Skibbereen for the holidays, and she goes, "Oh, Skibbereen, oh God, I was there as a kid, I loved it, blah, 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 blah." And about to have a big, long conversation with the executives about going to Skibbereen, when all of a sudden, boosh, Alan Partridge crashes back in and drags the conversation back to himself as usual. And well, as I said, I wouldn't go into detail about it, but I just have. But anyway, I'm Alan Partridge. I'm not sure which episode it is, but Series 1 anyway. Absolute genius. I love it. Right, let's get on to the Intellivision stuff, the Amico.
And does anyone want to talk? I don't know about this Amico thing. It's
No, I think I wanted to talk about
wait. Are we back to talking Amico?
Oh, no, let's not talk Amico. Okay. Yeah, let's forget about the Amico in that case. So, thanks very much for watching. Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe. No, not talking about the Amico. That's a load of old. 2 for the price of 1. Actually, 2 for the price of none. I didn't charge you for the first one. I suppose we must.
Oh, on an Amico stream. That's it, I'm writing.
I mean, for a little bit, I guess. A little bit. But anyways, as far as I'm hoping to share some stuff with you soon. When I receive this unit,
Yeah, after Mike Mullis has sent his back.
which should be soon, I will try to do I don't know if everybody's sick of unboxing, but I'll do basically an unboxing and at least show
Can you do a boxing? Can you do a boxing?
What- how about
putting it in
this?
the box to send it?
How about this? Yeah, I will
to Nick
turn
or
the
to
video
Rap?
on. I will have everything out of the package. What I'll do is I'll wrap the console, wrap the controllers back up, put everything back into the cardboard, put it back in the box, and then seal it.
And wipe Mike Mullis's fingerprints off it.
So it'll be like a reboxing.
Nice.
I don't know. I feel
Call
like anybody
Reebok.
that gets one of these
Close
units
every
probably
box.
needs to do an
It'll
unboxing.
be my
I
new
don't know.
channel.
It just seems to be I don't know.
But
Yeah,
only on
sort of.
Boxing Day or Unboxing Day. So
Do we have an unboxing day? Is that our dedicated day on YouTube to do?
I'll
unboxing
reveal my
videos?
unit.
DJC's unit. Let's all picture DJC's unit.
For
it
all
is.
to see. So wrong.
yeah. And just for the record, DJC, your unit is you're looking at a test unit. You're not
That's gonna
doing a
get
review.
clipped.
What did I say?
No, please continue.
They love their units. They love DJC's unit.
Your unit?
Yes, you're like, and just for the record, your unit is.
Just for the record, your unit.
clip.
It's really about the fans and fan
No, I don't-
appreciation. No.
Mike Hawk says, "Do you get to keep the unit, DJC, or do you have to pass it along for future testers?" Well, he's getting it from Mike Mullis, and well, no one else is getting one, are they? They claim there's 25 people getting one. How do they know if they don't know any names of the people getting them?
How would I answer this?
No, you're doing it. You're doing testing on this. You're not doing
Testing what apart from our patience?
I'm not reviewing it.
deep software testing. These have been tested. You're looking at things like the user interface. You're looking at stuff that they have been working on over the past several months.
Several months from where? The offices have been shut since March, April. Where are they doing? Where have they been working on anything? Explain that. They never say where they're working on stuff from. God knows. I mean, the what sort of bizarro world is this being worked on in?
That they really have not had a full team of staff to kind of run through everything. So you're looking at sort of a lean user experience approach to testing. You're going through this process of, I booted it up, I did this, and this is what I thought of those things, or I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this, and kind of to report back to them. You're not putting
I think his brain's seized up.
the thing through its paces, doing every possible, software glitch finding that's out there. You're
What the hell's he talking about?
going through a run of those processes, and you're going with some of the some of the team at Intellivision are walking you through.
I
the
do
stuff that
think
they
it's
want
some
you
of
to
it
do.
was just user testing, right?
I'm not even.
What testing could they possibly do that they're going to have just paid if they had any money and weren't $10 million plus in debt? What they could just pay Bethany, whatever her name was, the girl who supposedly was answering emails, to test the unit. She could test DJC's unit. You might enjoy that. What can they possibly do that they couldn't just? What can these guys do that possibly couldn't be done in house, even if they had a house anymore, which they don't, because they're all closed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just end user
But I know there's been a
testing.
lot. Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion. Like, are you qualified to do this? It's like you're going through a checklist that they are walking you through the
Plus,
things
I'm
they want to do.
And I said this in my community post or my video, I can't remember, or both. Basically, the way I see it, and once again, it's like they didn't have to pick me to do this. And I know right now,
They didn't, did they? You're just making it up.
because okay, let's think of this. Back when Tommy was doing the promotion and on every channel, he was always mentioning, hey, we're talking 2020, like almost 3 years ago.
When ET comes out, he'd love to have Atari Creep do.
He'd be like, yeah,
be
you'd be
involved
like,
in that
I'd
somehow.
love Creep. I'd like.
God, I had Atari Creep commenting on my last video when I was talking about Amico stuff. Excuse me. That was an experience I can't wash off.
To have you get a console, I'd like to have this person get a console. I'd like to have this. That's all been well documented all through. Is hey, when this gets up and running, we'd like to get these consoles out to all. We always considered, hey, we're in this community, we probably get a chance to get one of these consoles. So that was always like on our minds. But I personally didn't. It wasn't personally absolutely confirmed for me until I found out when I announced it. It was always like, oh, you really are gonna, like, I know it was talked about, but like I didn't. You're really officially.
No,
and I feel like
there's a difference between good intentions and that sounds
that
great.
was
And we'll see
really
what happens when it happens versus like, okay, this is actually interesting that you
yeah,
are
like
getting
nothing
the unit
was
early.
promised. It was more or less
Not getting a
it was-
unit.
Well,
it was
I had
almost
somebody
like, hey,
else
if
asking me
if
about
it's
this
possible,
today.
we'd like to,
What the hell happened then? Nick just it seemed to be slow and then zoomed along for a minute. I'm just wind that back.
Okay, this is actually interesting that
Is he frozen or is he just paused?
you
Yeah,
are
like
getting the
nothing
unit
was
early.
promised. It was more or less
Not getting a
it was-
unit.
Well,
it was
I had
almost
somebody
like, hey,
else
if
asking me
if
about
it's
this
possible,
today.
we'd like.
If you're just listening to this, just avert your eyes from whatever you're doing, just so you can watch Nick. There we go. Ready?
It was more or less.
Not getting a
it was-
unit.
Well,
it was
I had
almost like,
somebody
hey,
else
if
asking me
if
about
it's
this
possible,
today.
we'd like to.
I had somebody else asking me about this today, and I'm like, look, nobody knows anything with the way things have been going until you either have like a tracking number, or it shows up at your like house or something, right? And because everything's been in such flux, I mean, how do you really know what the hell, right? Even if something was rumored or mentioned or whatever, which I'm not saying
Yeah, it comes down to that. But
it comes down to, well, all right, maybe show up. Are they going to be able to do?
What on earth was that?
Right, maybe.
It's like he's sort of holding up fake arms, like from a waxwork dummy or something, from a mannequin. Just try that again.
Comes down to, well, all right, maybe.
Geeks with cash in his fake arms. Geeks with fake arms.
Show up. Are they going to be able to do this? Or direction's going to change again? Because there's been nothing, if not a lot of left turns on this whole ride so far. You know what I mean? So it's just, it is what it is.
And how come he doesn't explain that? Because he said the other week, Intellivision aren't talking to us, they aren't talking to anyone. So why are they all of a sudden talking to DJC and Mike Mullis and apparently sending out test units? They're not. Mike's clearly bought it from eBay for $1,000 or something, and then he'll just pass it along to DJC, he'll pretend it's a different unit altogether.
And
But
a lot
yeah,
of
just to
this is, we'd
answer-
love to do this, but we can't do it because we don't have the funds to do it. Just assume with
it's a different
the
animal now. Than
company's
it was
purse
back
strings
then.
being
That's
extremely
why it's
tight
down
and
to
Right.
yeah.
And I feel like the reason
Come, their purse strings are tight. They're 10 million plus in debt. That's good, and they've put $17 million stolen into the Cayman Islands. That's the only reason they're tight, because they're tight bastards.
everybody's like, well, why would they give it to you? Well, I'm not the only person. There's many other people that are probably doing stuff and
Probably. So he's just making shit up, as always.
and stuff like that. I'm just happy that they maybe because I'm the only Amico show on right now. It could.
No, I wonder why. I wonder why you're the only Amico show. Because this is like, I've said this before and I'll say it again. And again, it's a spoiler. If you've not seen Don't Look Up, probably skip forward by a minute or two. Film's on Netflix. Brilliant film, end of the world drama. So here comes the spoiler. So basically, they're trying to, the Earth's, the comet's on a course for Earth. Will it wipe out Earth, or will it be able to sort it out? No, they can't sort it out at all. Earth gets wiped out, but everyone, just right up until the last second, people are like, "Oh, it can get fixed. We can get it sorted. We can get it sorted." And then the realization eventually kicks in that, "Oh shit, we're all going to die. It's game over." And that's what everyone else is like. Everyone else has realized, it's the Amico's not coming. But DJC's like Jonah Hill's character at the end, who's just like, because he's. Well, I won't sort of say exactly what's happened, but he basically still thinking there's a chance. And that's DJC. Still thinking there's a chance when anyone sane knows there is no chance and we're all going to die.
Be because I built a relationship with this company over the years, and they were very nice enough to maybe to see, and I put this on my post, like I said in my video, but to see it as a fan's perspective, to get their hands on it and go, wow, I get to I know this is a Genesis, but I go, oh my God, I get to like look at this and fire it up and play it and just and kind of give you my input, and then you want to know about certain things. Like to me, I can offer the ultimate Intellivision fans perspective, and that's to me what I think.
I think that's why you
are the ultimate Intellivision Amico fan, because you're the only one left. There's no one else. Excuse me. There's no one else who stands out more, because you're the last person who cares about this thing.
Not top on the list as far as like is the technical aspects of blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'm not a tech guy or anything like that.
Well, neither is Mike Mullis.
But I know how to play stuff and have fun. And if it's not, and if the user experience, I always say that if the user experience is good, I'm gonna know. If it's bad, or I think, hey, you guys should have done this or do this.
So what makes you any different from any other person, apart from the fact that you're the only one who really wants to play this thing?
I can give that input, and hopefully they'll take that, and run with that. Going, oh well, DJC loves Intellivision. He's always talking about this. He's played this before. He said that this.
Yeah, but you couldn't even double jump before.
This was maybe not up to par as it should be. Maybe I can give some of that.
You won't say anything's wrong with it. You'll just say, "Oh God, it's fantastic. It's amazing. Produce it as it is." And produce it as it is, because it's a broken pile of steaming dung, and we'll get to see that in all its glory.
That's if you're wondering why they chose me, that could be it. But I'm truly humbled that they did. They didn't have to.
Humble.
But I'm just one person, man. I'm really just one person that's gonna do.
You're one person. Well counted.
That
You are the chosen one. After Mike.
He's the only one.
Well, here's part of the reason I think why they probably chose.
No, I'm not. It's not a path. By the way, I'm sorry not to interrupt. I've had this thing on here forever.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not passing it along. I do have to give it back, but it's not getting passed along. There's different ones out.
I won't say exactly what Darius says, but passed along like a $2. I won't say the last word, but it did make me laugh.
That they're going to be for different people.
You
there's not. It's not like pass it to the next person. There's different, because I'm going to have mine the same time as Mike.
Are you? Where is it then? Pass the Amico from the left-hand side. Say, pass the Amico from the left-hand side.
And there are multiple units floating out there.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I don't know how many are being sent to
One. One is a number.
Personas online, I think they have different destinations in mind for where those are going.
I would.
Ooh, will I get one?
Yeah, I'd
Like
absolutely
right
send them to
now,
different
right now they're
destinations.
not. I don't think sending review units because they're looking for that feedback on.
Because they haven't got any review units. Because there's only like 2 or 3 of these bloody consoles made that have got like an 2016 mobile chip in them that have already done the rounds at the Boomers and Crayola events and all the rest of it, and it'll be the same ones as those. So if DJC loves the ones that have done the rounds, he'll just get this one and go, "Wow, it's amazing!" Yeah, because it's just the same one he played before.
You know, the user experience, the store, all of that stuff that you're
None of it works.
going to be running through.
Right, right. And I think part of the reason that Chuck and Mike in particular were probably picked, at least in my mind anyway, is Mike does have a background in doing this kind of stuff.
Does he? Apparently he was a journalist about 20 years ago, wrote for a few magazines, wrote for a website 20 years ago. What's he done since? Nothing. Just turned into Ned Flanders. And tell me, "Ooh, Amico! DJC just told me it's all fine. I don't want them to delay it further because it's not up to your standards."
So he knows how to look for some of the stuff. He also has an IT background.
I always forget who Tommy Yumiko is using as the avatar because he uses it everywhere. And I must have asked him that 2 or 3 times, and he tells me. Because my brain's all full of Swiss cheese. I keep forgetting who it is. If you're watching this, Tommy, tell me. Please tell me in the comments. I'll try not to forget for next time.
He's gone over all this, but all that stuff matters. Plus, he has Seth. And so, since he can play it with his son, he can see his son's reaction, see how he reacts to things, what he struggles with. And one of the reasons Seth is key is not only because he's a young boy, he's also autistic.
So there's no other people with children in the Intellivision who work for Intellivision who could test it with their families. Really? And I mean, I had no idea that. I'm not going to go into detail about it. I'm not going to. Mike's son was autistic before. I had no idea. Why would I know? I don't watch Mike Mullis. I've never watched a Mike Mullis video before the one the other day. Why would I? If he's not, am I going to just watch one of his exciting overnight podcast live stream things? I'd rather eat the carpet. He looks, and Mike looks like he wears the carpet on his face with that goatee. But I don't know. I mean, when I go to the cinema, and I know I don't go to these particular screenings, but I know they have for some kids' films occasionally. Maybe they'll have a particular screening for a particular film. Once they'll have this kind of screening. They have what they call an autism-friendly screening. They turn the volume down a bit. They put all the lights on. Apparently, kids get up and wander around. And so I'm not going to go to a screening. Well, I'm not going to go to watch a kids' film anyway. But apparently, I'm not going to go watch a film where they have the lights on purpose. Because when I'm in the cinema, I like the lights to be dark. But they do that so that any sort of, if you're watching a film in the cinema, and you got lots of bright lights, shooting out at the screen, if the room's all pitch black and you got these bright lights shining in your face, as I understand it, that's not good for kids with autism, and so that's why they turn the lights up. Meanwhile, Intellivision make this console, if it ever did come to pass, so that kids can sit in the dark and have this console full of bright lights wazzing at them in the eyes, going with the bright lights, and apparently that's good for kids with autism, which is completely the opposite to the cinema situation. Someone explain that.
And making sure that this is accessible and easy to play for someone who even has autism is kind of a cool thing for them to be able to get data on. How can they make that easier or better? How can they make the console more?
Just, switch the lights off. It sounds like it. W. Amico, please just quickly give me your approval, CJC seal of quality, so they can get it out. The FCC is already holding them up with their demands. Don't demand more, DJC, please. And I think it was Joe Zanel who commented on the last video, who made a few comments on the video. One which was something I wasn't even aware of. They brought up the FCC thing. I wasn't aware that Intellivision's whatever you call it, the license to have HDMI had expired. It expired in about March, April, sometime this year. So they don't have the rights. I didn't realise this was the thing. So Intellivision don't have the rights to use HDMI on the console. So why does the console have HDMI out? Because they certainly won't be renewing that. They didn't get the FCC thing. They don't renew anything else. So, and I know I'm not bothered making a separate video about it, but the whole Republic website's been taken off air as well. Because that's all a big scam. But DJC's forgotten about that somehow.
Accessible.
Yeah.
So it's a great pick for those reasons.
Yeah.
As far as Chuck, you're going to get like the ultimate fanboy's perspective on a lot of the retro games.
Which he did already at the Crayola events, etc.
And all the new stuff that he's going to be able to play. So he's going to be able to tell you how close it feels to the original Intellivision, how renewed it feels versus the original Intellivision, because the man has a lot of OG Intellivision experience on it. Plus, he's the face of this show. So, there's no getting around it. Out of all the crap that...
That's really sad having all that shit in his background, isn't it?
We have gotten...
I suppose at least he's got someone to talk to at the weekend.
Over the last couple of years, it's nice to maybe have a perk.
Along with whoever he's got trapped in his cellar. There's all this perk business. Hang on.
Experience on it. Plus, he's the face of this show. So, there's no getting around it. Out of all the crap that we have gotten over the last couple of years, it's nice to maybe have a perk.
So reviewing broken shit is a perk. And yeah, if you've had crap over the last couple of years, then why do you bother with this thing then? Why do you bother talking about a console that's not going to happen? Haven't you got better things to do? Before someone says about the same thing to me, I get a lot of watch time on these videos. So the answer to that is no.
And if you don't like it, go ahead and use this for your clip.
Oh my God!
Hey, we're family friendly.
Oh, mercy me! Let's just go back. Hang on.
Plus, he's the face of this.
Just hold on. Let's just go back a sec before he goes all Full Metal Jacket again.
Going to be able to play. So he's going to be able to tell you how close it feels to the original Intellivision, how renewed it feels versus the original Intellivision, because the man has a lot of OG Intellivision experience on it. Plus, he's the face of this show. So, there's no getting around it. Out of all the crap that we have gotten over the last couple of years, it's nice to maybe have a perk. And if you don't like it, go ahead and use this for your clip.
You see, I would love to use that as the thumbnail. I would love to have Nick flipping the bird twice as the thumbnail, but I would instantly get flagged on, as a another copyright thing, something they would not like anyway. On was a community guidelines thing, because you can't say anything these days. A community guidelines thing on about flipping the bird. They would not have that. So, jump.
Oh my God!
Hey, we're family friendly.
And on that night, well, you can blur that out later.
I was just gonna throw this on.
What is that sad shit?
Sorry, it's the last. I'll try to cut down on the hostility, but I mean, seriously,
I want to bring the temperature. I want to bring the temperature down and just remind everybody the real face of the show is Art Bigfall.
Yes, it totally is.
That's true.
Who, me? What did I do?
Did he say that without moving his lips?
Who, me? What did I do?
Was it Rab?
Who, me? What did I do?
It was. His picture's a bit out of sync with his audio, so I didn't think it was him.
I mean, I don't know how I'm not really good at emulating his voice.
Am I rehired?
I don't even want to try, right? But speaking of not that terrible transition again, I did. I'm going to check the poll, and that is we have 135 votes in. We got about. I'm going to let it go for about another minute. It looks like though everybody wants to see more Astro Smash of any Amico game right now.
I think I'm not really paying attention to the poll. I think it was, and someone can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think it was which game for the Amico do they want more deep dives on? And he wants more Astro Smash, even though Astro Smash, we've seen the whole thing, even if it was a thing. Tommy Tallywacker and John Avocado, they sat down and played through all 10 levels of Astro Smash. So what is there to see? There's nothing else to see. There's nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
We have Astro Smash at 39%, almost 40%. Dino Blaster at almost 30%. Brain Duel at 18. Shark at 13. So it's between Astro Smash and Dino Blaster, but looks like Astro Smash is going to be the winner. Yeah. So what do you think of that? How dare you call it Crap Fighter? It's Cat Fighter.
Yay! Damn you, Amico! Right again.
I think we need to see more boss fights on.
Now we have an argument if it's Art Big Fall or the Flamingo that's
Art Big Fall is strictly for the bins.
the face of the show. And well, Art might be the voice. The Flamingo is definitely the pretty one.
So Nick's drinking water. Finally, something healthy.
What's happening with Night Stalker? I haven't heard anything new.
Nothing's happening with Night Stalker. It was just a 2-second image demo, slightly moving, that they made to trick you all. Nothing's happening ever with it. They made that 4 years ago, and you're still thinking, "Oh, when am I getting Night Stalker? Where's my Cloudy Mountain?"
On that, I think those were originally, if you remember, when it was originally slated to come out, those were going to be more big separate releases later on after it was out.
I think
After it was out, so it'll come after it gets released. So, despite the fact they've had 4 years to get this thing made, they're still going to be delaying that until after. Yeah, in the last 4 years, they must have made tons of games ready, just bursting to come out of this machine. It's amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's. I don't want to call them back burner because that doesn't
You're guessing. Well, you're certainly guessing.
sound right anymore. But like,
No.
I would say that would be later
they
releases.
were intended to be second phase or something.
Yeah,
to kind
so-
of hold up their sleeve for like a
They should be on about 10th phase by now.
Night Stalker or a Bomb Squad or a Cloudy Mountain or one of those bigger games that they could, release a little bit later on in its life cycle. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much more work they've put in, how much more work they wanted to put in, but that
Just Tommy Amico said they meant, instead of Crap Fighter, he meant Craps, the dice game. I think I proved I probably need a crap in a minute.
is the last we've heard of.
Well, and I think they
Where they
wanted
are
to
with
drip
it.
feed those anyway because they wanted
I
to
love
dose
them.
those out amongst new IPs and whatever new focuses might come up because when it boils down to it, it's a new console with a couple ideas that haven't really been heavily utilized in the console space, at least not in great depth.
Not heavily utilised. Well, like the circular dial thing that nobody needs, that no one else has used since the original Intellivision because nobody wants it.
I feel like with some of the titles,
Not highlighted.
right, and those
Like you could
might
find some of
become
this stuff in-
standout titles that become more mainstream on this particular console, right?
Yeah.
So not knowing that, you keep some of your retro titles that you can kind of drip feed to your main retro audience to keep them interested while you bring this new stuff out for like your new growing market, right? At least
Yeah.
that was my thought process.
Yeah.
Atari Night Stalker: The Dark Caverns. You know
And
what?
that
I've never
satisfies
played
the
it.
retro gamers who are most interested in this at the moment.
Right.
I've never played that, but I do want to try it. I might try it on my Halloween show. But obviously Night Stalker I like better. But I mean, I've seen it. It just. Also, let's see. What are the Are the packing games the only games available on the test units, or are there going to be certain games that will come? I do not know.
Oh, Meg says packing games. It's supposed to be 6 packing games. They only ever announced 5. Was the 6th supposed to be? I forget what it was called now, but some party game or something. But yeah, one of the packing games was Cornhole, which they never. that was a broken mess, and then they said they were going to go back to the drawing board on that, and then they never even got any further with that. So where are these packing games? They're not made. Oh God, she's as bright about the packing games as she is about using her original hair color.
Ooh, I do not know that. So I guess I will find out. I am not sure.
Yeah, you'll find out when you get the same unit from Mike Mullis when he sends it to you after he bought it from eBay.
Dan White mentioned that the RC Pro-Am looking game, which I think is called Nitro Derby.
See, I liked that.
I think that one looks cool. To me,
race.
I want to see more on that whenever they have it. That one looks fun.
Yeah.
What is with all these alt accounts with melons? Like,
I don't know. They're turkeys or whoopee. I don't know.
Well, since you blocked me, I could create an alt account with melons, but then again, your thing starts at 2:30 in the morning in the UK, and I'm away in the land of Nod at that time.
It's like a whole.
But anyways, so I'm gonna end the poll, and it looks I'm gonna say it right here. It's basically 40%, 137 votes. Well, it ended at 39%. But yeah, Astro Smash. People want to see Astro Smash, so there you go. Intellivision. I guess Astro Smash is your most loved game right
Where would they make these videos from? They haven't got any offices
now for this. As far as next week, everybody's like, no, Brain Duel.
I voted for Brain Duel. It's
I
one of the ones
myself.
I've not seen anything on, and I kind of want to see real footage on it.
Nostalgic Inclination says, will the physical media already released work on your test unit? No, because there's no scanner on the unit, and there's no games on the cards anyway, because they didn't make any games. In fact, I think it was just. I thought it was like. Oh no, sorry, there was a scanner, wasn't there? There was. I don't know. There's something anyway, but no, sorry. I was saying. I'm trying to think what I said before that was wrong. I said that there was nothing on the actual cards. And then someone said that that they did scan. They reminded me that they did scan. Someone did scan the cards, and said that all it does was link. It's just a URL link, a web link, to the website, the Intellivision website for the game itself. Even though which is nothing in that case. It may as well just so you get to the page on Intellivision, but it wouldn't download the game for you. And there's no game anyway, so that's about as much as it'll do. It'll just take you to a website link that doesn't work.
Will the physical media already released work? It should, absolutely. I mean, I don't know that because I don't have the unit on my person, but
yeah,
I guess I will find out.
And I don't know. I can't remember if something like that might have gotten covered on NLG last night. If not,
I think
you might want to go back and at least scan through to where they talk about the Amico testing. Because I know they talked about a few things there, but I can't remember what they covered.
Well, from what I remember when I listened to that, he just said that he's not allowed to talk about what games are apparently on it.
Last night's NLG. Mike, are you still in the chat? Can you? I don't know if you talked about something like this on last night's show. I can't remember because
I know they talked about it for a little bit because it was one of their topics, but I can't remember what all he covered. Quite frankly.
Saggy goes, I destroyed everyone in Shark.
I scanned that very early today, and I don't recall hearing anything about the RFID scanner for the games. Okay. But to my understanding from past conversations, that was not anything.
Blitzkrieg, I would have to figure. Let's bring that up.
To my understanding from past conversations,
Blitzkrieg, I would have to figure that the physical media would work. Of course, it will, lad.
That was not anything withheld or an issue. Like this is.
No, I've seen that early, back in November. So
this store, I know Mike had said the store was up, and that process. I don't think he talked about scanning the physical games, but the units are
Johnny
what
Hopes.
they are going to manufacture.
Oh, Bacon Ice Cream says, I'm pretty sure Mike confirmed that. So maybe that was talked about on the NLG show. I
It
guess
might have been. I know they did like 10
Rich and
minutes on it or
Nick.
something.
Yeah, you guys trumped me. I heard it on like double speed very quickly this
They trumped on him.
morning. I just don't recall.
Yeah, so I checked because it was last night's original Next Level Gaming show. So check that out. I know he had some Amico.
If he's next level gaming, presumably next gen, then at least he's talking about PS5 and Xbox Series X. But he wants to play a console that's 40 years old in terms of the games it can play.
Coverage on there, and he was showing the unit. We've been saying that a lot. Showing.
Yeah,
unit.
that's gonna be a thing.
But check
Legend
that. But Bacon Ice Cream says, yeah, he confirmed it. So there you go.
It's gonna be such a thing. Anyway.
in his lone lunchtime.
Perky Melons. I love these alt accounts.
Perky Melons, I heard there's proof that DJC heard he was getting a unit eight months ago. Is that a lie? Because I think this guy is going to show the receipts. Just wondering if that's true or not. Undy Pops. Receipts for what? And this spelled receipts wrong. It's I-before-E except after C. RECEIPTS, not IE. Oh.
Proof that DJC was... I already addressed this earlier. I said, yeah, there was multiple times that we were talking about everybody, would be great to give everyone units, but...
Yeah, they kept stringing you along saying you were going to get a unit. But you're not. Unless it's this one that Mike's bought off eBay. Probably one of those ones that, or rather eBay, not eBay, rather whatever place Tommy Tallywacker was selling all this crap. And that's where Mike's bought it from. And then he's just going to shove that... He's gonna pass that around like a $2 thing that Darius said. They are so transparent.
That that was like 2020. That was a while ago. But it was always talked about. But I mean, ever absolutely 100% like it's in the mail confirmed? No, like that's.
I think it was a lot of wouldn't that be something?
There was
Wouldn't that be something?
a lot of wouldn't that be something? Yeah,
There was a
Yeah, that was what Tommy said every time he lied.
lot of that.
But no, not now. I know for sure I'm actually getting one, so I can't wait to show you guys. And I think the reboxing is a good thing. I say it all apart, wrap it back together, put it back in the box, and seal it because no one's done a reboxing. Am I the only one that still thinks it's funny? Okay, whatever.
Nope.
I'm laughing on the inside.
You're like, I think you're crying.
I don't think I was laughing at all until he realized it wasn't funny.
He could live DJC. Mike Garcia says, DJC, can you live stream the Amico unboxing? He could, but that means he might accidentally say something that breaks the NDA. The NDA he got on a blank piece of paper where he wrote the words NDA. Letters NDA, anyway.
And then it became really funny.
Can you live stream the unboxing? I probably won't, depending on the time I get it, because I'm probably going to open it right. So I'll probably record it because I'd rather. I don't know. I want to.
Well, yeah, you're
I'll
under
tell
an
you what.
NDA,
If I
so-
Oh, hang on. Tommy Amico. Stores up. Don't tell Reddit or it's getting hacked. Yeah, that is a store.
I tell you what, if I get, I will show it on the show.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I will show it on the show if I get it by the time the show's on next week.
I hope what he does is, and what Mike did, as someone else said in the chat, in one of the chats on one of the videos, I think on Mike's video, I think what they should do is Mike, Mike should make a note of the serial number on the unit, and then DJC does the same thing so that they can check whether it's the same unit or not.
So how about that?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to have maybe or maybe not or probably a guest on next week. So I know we don't normally have guests, but
Joe Biden.
This would be Amico related. So
Well, the crowd behind you seem enthused.
they did. Oh, did they start moving again?
Just the flamingo.
Oh boy, the flamingo. Oh, he's just pooping. But anyways, thank you.
What is this about pooping flamingo? I don't get it.
So much, everyone. Had over hundreds of people in the chat today. Art Bigfall meets the Amico fam finally. There you go, because Art Bigfall has to go through him first, and But thanks so much for the support, and I hope
I can't begin to imagine what goes on in his head.
To show you something very soon, and we will see you next week because we keep going on because it's forever and forever and forever.
Yeah, I have a feeling he might just hold us to that.
Forever.
Make sure you sub.
Now that's worth capturing. Let's go back to that.
Forever.
Forever.
Oh God, that's freaky.
Make sure you sub to
like this guy
channels.
Make sure you sub to this guy, a very enthusiastic. He
Try to get up with the right way. This guy.
Yeah, we're almost to 1,000. So yeah, you know what? I could use a few bucks. Let's get me to 1,000.
Yeah, he's only like 20. Was it 20 subscribers away from 1,000? Everyone subscribe to DJC. I'm subscribed. Go and subscribe to DJC. Actually, before it finishes, let's just see what comments we've got on here. Ooh, big fart. Forever gonna start tonight. Total Eclipse of the Dark, for anyone who doesn't realise. Oh yeah, there we go. Eclipse of the Dark, sorry. Total Eclipse of the Heart. Total Eclipse of the Fart. More like what I've been doing this evening. Heck yeah, doing unboxing. I have to do so. 32 Star Wars Arcade. Yeah, probably would be nice to include a Star Wars game, but yeah, trying to get the rights to that. Fake Foam Pumpkins. Cloudy Mountain, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Hyper Puppy 2 says, dude, you got to get rid of the zooming in and out feature every time someone types something in the chat. Makes it unenjoyable. Well, there's plenty of things that make it unenjoyable. Yeah, it is a bit stupid the way it keeps zooming in and out. I don't use anything like that, so I don't know how you get around that. But I don't know what the answer is there. It's not every time someone types something in chat. It's just every time DJC actually brings it up on the screen. I'm not going to mention that one in the audio form anyway.
I'm not doing anything crazy.
That is one perk we can all take care of.
He goes crazy a lot.
Help check get past the goal line.
Panda says, I was like, Panda.
Yeah, I was big to go past the goal line, but I got a ways to go past the goal line, so I'm not worried about it.
I didn't even realize there's a game.
I know through this whole stream, no one mentioned it.
There are multiple goal lines, sir. They're mostly personal goal lines that people want to get through. I feel like not really like major goal lines. I always have personal goal.
Hang on.
People want to get through. I feel like not really like major goal lines.
Crab legs, crab legs, crab legs.
I always have personal goal lines I want to go past. It's the only way I get anything done.
Well, now I'm not going to say it because now he just ruined it.
What, station
through this whole stream, Nick's shirt, the Ghostbusters uniform, was one of my favorites. So just wanted to say that. But, he just kept talking. And
I did.
There you guys, get in your crab legs. Get in your crab legs. There you go. Click that. We'll see you next week for another Amico Forever because we're not stopping. Take care.
And there we go. That's it for another week. Yeah, it's just they didn't chat for like an hour and a half about the same thing this time. So just one video's worth of content for you to enjoy. Hey, so I've got one video instead of two. I'm sure you can watch it twice. That'll make me very, very happy indeed. Anyways, cool time in it here. As I want to get this up on Saturday morning. And as I get to the very end, it's almost coming up to 12:30. So, these videos take forever to make. Oh, God, they're so difficult. And, I've got to render it. I've got to render it in 8K, and it's going to take forever. And, just so you can then watch it in 8K and IMAX 12-track digital sound. That's what I'm going to render it in. So that's going to take at least 32 years to render that. And then... still get up on online for Saturday morning because I'm cool like that. Anyway, Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, click on the bell for all the notifications, and cue Genesis.